Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society in general. I am Father George Ehusani, and I have with me in the studio today Mrs. Chimnecherem Annie. You're welcome, Mrs. Annie.
Thank you, Father.
Great. So I'm told you are a businesswoman.
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, and you are into...
I'm into foods and confectionaries.
Foods and confectionaries.
Yes, sir.
How has the hardship of today, the economic hardship, the downturn in economy, how is it affecting your business? Though I know that you business people, you never lose. You just keep jacking your prices up.
No, with the times we are in, our profit margins keep on reducing because the prices of raw materials keep going up, but the money in the hands of our customers are just not increasing. So we still have to serve them, but now we don't make lots of profit.
But when we go to shops, in fact, there are shops now where they no longer put prices on the product because they keep changing. It's like every week they change prices.
Yes.
And so the impression I have is that they don't lose. It is with the customers that keep paying more. They just, in fact, okay, this one you say profit margin is not much. The point is that you bought, let's say, certain things last month. Your shop is full.
Okay.
Then you hear that they change fuel price today. Okay. You go and change all the prices in your shop, whereas you actually produce those things or you bought those things at the old price.
Okay. So
then you go and change everything.
No, Father, the way it works is this. So, for example, there was a particular day that the price of sugar changed 3 times. 3 times in 24 hours. So what happens is you buy today and then you produce. And then it changes between the time you've exhausted what you bought, it changes over 5 times. If you bought at 20 naira and the next thing you're going to buy is 15 naira, you can't even buy it anymore. So somehow you have to keep tabs with the prices of things so that you can purchase by the next time you go to the market.
You keep tabs with the prices of things.
Yes.
So that you don't lose.
Yes.
You see, now what you are talking about is that your profit margin is less. But what the customer is talking about is that what he used to buy for 50 naira is now 200 naira. So you see that the customer is the one that is really, whereas you manage, maybe if you used to make 50 naira profit, you now make 30 or 20. Naira. So you don't lose anything. Just that your profit is less.
With the whole thing, this is for people that even buy in bulks. There are people that buy per painter. Yes, retail. So with that, you just have to. You have workers that you're paying every day. You have them to pay. So with that, they also have their own expenses. They have to transport and come to work. So even the fuel price affects them on a daily. So everything is just affecting everybody at the same time.
Anyway, my quarrel with people who sell things is that they hardly ever lose. They just keep increasing. I go to shop and every week they are just changing prices. So they say, oh, if we don't change our prices like this, then we cannot go return to market to fill our stock. And I say, oh, that's the only thing you are
not just
about.
Stock, even gas. For the people, we run generator. I have in my shop, I sell ice cream. So if there is no light, I will have to burn fuel to keep my ice cream freezer cool and blocked. So if the fuel price changes per time, I still have to.
Anyway, so what I call you for to discuss in the studio has to do with how do you think Nigerian women are responding to the hard times? Nigerian women are often the managers of our homes.
Yes.
They are the ones that have to, work to ensure that the children eat in spite of the changing prices. Yes. The husband eats, the children eat. How are they coping? And then we also need to discuss what is the level of, generally, I'm not talking of individuals now, but generally, what is the level of understanding between husbands and wives in coping with the present challenges in the country?
Okay, so Father, the thing is, women adapt very easily to things. So now that the prices of things have gone up, we have tried to devise means just to make sure that the family is comfortable. So if you're a woman, you weren't working before, you weren't doing anything, you just have to start doing something to complement whatever your husband is giving you. Because a woman can't see the child hungry and then fold her hands because my husband did not give me money. you have to feed that child. Your child can't be crying. You just have to feed that child. That was one of the things that actually drove me into business, because then my husband is working, but things just started going up and I needed to support him. So I got into business and we are here, we are where we are today. So with that, women have changed. Women are improving themselves. The ones that didn't have a degree before are going back to school just to make out something. Now with the whole thing having changed, they also sometimes can be unreasonable with their men, being that you know that the times are hard. So instead of just constantly attacking your husband, trying to run him down with your mouth, that he's not a man, that he's not man enough to provide for the family, why don't you just compliment him? The women we have these days, who they call the Gen Zs, okay, maybe not the Gen Zs, but still the millennials. The millennials, some are very reasonable, others are not. So you're placing a demand on your husband to get you the recent iPhone. It's so unreasonable. You're putting pressure on the man, you're putting pressure on his work, you're putting pressure on his pockets. So you now see men getting into things that they shouldn't have done. So he's seated one place with his friends and they're saying deals and all of that. Normally, he would have just concentrated in what he's doing and what he's paying him.
Actually, I heard that a lot of the corruption in this country, that it is pressure from homes and from the wives.
Yes.
That is part of what fuel the corruption in this country.
It's part, not totally.
No, of course not.
Yes, it's part of it. So men are trying to do the extras just to keep their homes, just to make their wives happy. This is not supposed to be. We are supposed to be reasonable.
You mean that there may be women today who don't recognize where we are, that we are in an emergency situation. Where the situation we are in now is described sometimes as a moral equivalence of war.
Yes.
We're in a situation of emergency. You mean somebody will be, maybe the husband is just a senior civil servant, or the husband has a small business, whatever. He'll be demanding that the husband gets iPhone 10, iPhone 12.
iPhone 14 plus. That is about over 1.5 million naira.
You mean
the current
you mean
one.
that it's possible that there will be somebody who is so unreasonable to be pressuring the husband to buy that kind of phone?
Yes, because some of them want to keep up with the trend. They want to look like their friends. They want to be the happening babes. They want to show that they have what other people have, which is totally uncalled for.
You mean, the way I see that is that there are a lot of people who have low self-esteem. They have such low self-esteem that it is this toy called iPhone that gives them a sense of joy. They give them a sense
of belonging,
an elusive sense of worth. That's what it means.
Yes.
It gives them an elusive, and it is elusive.
Because it's not real.
No, because by the time there is iPhone 9, iPhone 18, they are no longer...
that one is no longer in vogue.
Yeah, so their worth will just go down. That's serious. I do hear such reports from men, but you are like confirming that there are
apart
some
from
women.
The phones. So women love clothes. Women love hairs. So as a woman, if you don't own what they call bone streets in your collection of hairs, you've not arrived. So your friends all own it. You go sit out and everybody's wearing theirs and you're not wearing. So she's feeling that she's not up to what is involved.
Back to the whole issue of low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Why would somebody be evaluating her worth as a person, and you are saying they are happy based on what other people are wearing?
Okay, so I think it starts from the person's upbringing. So how were you trained at home? What did your parents teach you? Were you taught contentment? Were you taught not to be greedy? Were you taught to, whatever it is that you have, to be okay with it? So even if you don't have all the good clothes, make sure that you iron the one that you have and look good in it. So it starts from the home. So your parents, and what part of the things that the parents do is that they help their children have good self-esteem, so that you're not affected by the way someone else looks or by the things that other people have. So you're okay with yours. So from there, they grow up having that good and high self-esteem that whatever that goes on doesn't really bother you.
Yeah, this is important, because hearing you talk about they want to be trendy, They want to you have the kind of phone that their
Your
friends
friends
have,
have.
the kind of hairdo, the kind of whatever. And I'm asking myself, as I listen to you, and I'm asking myself, wow, do we have such a bunch of immature, such a bunch of immature people who are raising children in this society?
Unfortunately, we do. Unfortunately, we have mothers like that.
Because if such people who are immature are raising children,
they're setting up the next generation up.
The next generation of people who are going to live with inferiority complex. Because you see, any adult who measures his or her worth by the cost of phone I use, by the kind of car I drive, by what part of town I'm able to live in.
Yeah.
I say such a person needs help.
True.
And if you are saying we have numerous such people, then no wonder our society is so sick. No wonder there's so much monumental corruption, because what it means is that people are stealing simply to impress others.
That is the truth, Father. People steal to impress. It's not like what they have currently is not enough.
For their basic needs.
For their basic needs. Is enough. So, but because they want to impress and oppress, because as you're trying to impress someone, you're trying to show the person that you're more than the person.
No, is that what they call pepper them?
Pepper them.
I heard that a few weeks ago.
Yes, that's pepper them. Trying to make them feel.
Pepper them. That concept. I came back from Germany in 2008, and I first heard the expression when I arrived Lagos. I went to Tafawa Balewa Square, and I saw a number of tiny generators, and they said it is called I better pass my neighbor.
I better pass my neighbor, yes.
I actually wrote an article about it because I saw what I saw in that expression, I better pass my neighbor.
That's the oppression part.
Yeah, no, I saw sick people. People who are sick, really.
Yes.
Whose sense of who they are is based on who they are oppressing.
Yes.
So I am able to oppress some people, therefore I am somebody.
Yes.
Something seriously wrong with that kind of society.
Our society is very sick because we just want to impress, we just want to oppress and make sure that this person sees me as something bigger than what he or she is. It's terrible.
So, like I said now, 15 years ago, I heard I better pass my neighbor.
Okay.
For this tiny little, in those days, they were 35,000 naira generators.
Yes.
Then, these days now, in the last 2-3 weeks, I'm hearing about
pepper them.
What has the cost of your attachment, hair attachment, the cost of your phone, or the cost of your shoes, what has it got to do with the value and the worth of somebody else? Your own value and your worth. So, what do you think we can do about this sickness, this corporate insanity, if one may call it that way? This people who are living in a grand illusion.
Yeah.
The one who goes to buy a car and who says he's peppering
the neighbor.
Such a person needs psychiatrist attention.
Yes, true.
Needs clinical psychologist attention.
True.
The one who went to buy a hair attachment and is peppering neighbor because the neighbor cannot afford that cost. Hair. The one who goes to buy a generator and names it I better pass my neighbor because people need help.
They need psychiatric evaluation, because if you're assigning your worth, the worth of your entire life, with regards to what someone else has, we need to open up your head to actually know what's going on in there and what happened. How did it get this bad? What happened to you as a child?
And then what happened to the Nigerian society? Because I don't think in the 50s and 60s and 70s, I don't think it was like this. So what has happened to the Nigerian society that, once upon a time in this society, the most respectable person used to be teachers.
Yes, yes.
Primary
True.
school teachers. When I was growing up, big men and women will take their children and give a teacher to raise.
To raise, yes.
They didn't have money, but they were highly respected. When would we have begun worshiping money, idolizing money?
I think it started with the invention of social media, because we see what the whites are doing, and we want to look. That's actually where all of that started from. So a woman has her natural African hair, but she has become insecure with her hair and wants to wear that of an Indian woman, or what's the other one, Peruvian woman, or a Malaysian woman. It started from there, because with that we saw their texture of hair, and then we didn't like our own natural texture anymore. We just wanted to have theirs.
What, if I may ask, do you think are some of the consequences, apart from stealing, apart from widespread corruption and this nonsense of "I pass my neighbor," the legacy of slave trade?
Slave trade.
Yes, the legacy. You see, because what you are saying now, I mean, a woman does not like her natural hair.
Hair, yeah, and she wants to.
How can you live successfully and not like something that is constantly growing from birth to death? Is constantly growing on your hair.
Oh, Father, there is just a lot going on in the society. Hair is just one of it. There are a lot of women going through surgeries just to augment and change their God-given attributes. There are a lot going on in the society now. And the consequences are this. First off, such women will never truly be happy. They will never, man, woman, because men are also involved in it now. They will never truly be happy, because every new day, new things come up. I think Apple now, every 6 months, they bring out a new phone. And then the old one you bought becomes an old version. You have to go for the new one. So they will never truly be happy, because their happiness is measured.
It's hanging on irrelevancies.
Yes. Secondly, they are passing this unhappiness to the next generation. So now we're not just going to suffer with them. The next set of people are being transmitted that such unhappy lifestyle. So you now see little girls are being made up, wearing makeups, wearing funny looking things.
I see 12-year-olds with attachment, 12-year-old with lipstick, 12-year-old with finger, whatever.
Long extended nails and all that. So they are transmitting it to the next generation, which is also another problem, because we are not done dealing with the current one. They are setting up the next bomb for the next generation. Then secondly, this will always create fights and instability in homes. A situation where a woman is constantly pressuring the husband to go, can't do whatever your other guys are doing, can't do what your fellow men are doing, and she doesn't care. What she just wants is the money. So that kind of a thing, it will always create fights in the home.
There will be tension at home.
Yes, there will always be fights in the home. The children that don't know what is going on will think that is the way marriage is supposed to be. So mommy is fighting daddy, daddy is fighting mommy, constantly abusing themselves. So they grow up thinking that is a lifestyle. So now, apart from raising young people that have that mindset, you're creating the next type of family we're going to have will just be filled with fights. It's just a terrible, unending situation that we need to start curbing.
They say contentment is the secret of happiness. And if we ever needed contentment, this is the time.
Yes.
This is the time, because Nigeria is going through such terrible economic hardship.
Yeah.
That this is when you are a woman, you are a mother, tell me, what can we do about this to help the growing generation to recognize that their happiness does not depend on their on the hair attachment or fingernails or phone or anything? How can we go about even educating, let's say, your fellow women and and some men, of course, and the children? How do we go about it?
So first off, it starts with the mother, because the mother is the keeper of the home. So you have to recognize these times we are in as a country. Learn to appreciate whatever your husband has given you. Whatever he's doing, appreciate and praise him, because I've heard that men thrive more when their wives appreciate and encourage what they are doing. So learn to appreciate and love your husband for who he is and for whatever it is that he's doing or he gives to you. Then secondly, teach your children to be contented. Teach your children. So for someone like me, maybe someone in my age bracket that is already having such problem, I would advise, if you can't help yourself, because some people have gotten to the extent that they've become, what's the word now? They can't help themselves. So they have become addicted to always having new things. If you can't help yourself, seek for help. I think clinical psychologists help with that so that people can help you.
It's some kind of addiction when people are always out buying things.
New things,
including those they don't need.
Yes.
Then there are hoarders.
Yes.
People who
can't let go.
They must hoard. Every ashwabi they must get.
Oh, yeah.
Every hairstyle they must get.
They must.
So, such people are ruining our economy.
True.
Are ruining the Nigerian economy.
True.
At a time when 30,000 naira is still the minimum wage. 30,000 naira. Today, 30,000 naira is still the minimum wage. And there are state governments that default.
Haven't even implemented it.
That default in paying it.
Okay.
So, what can we do? And are there things that can be done from religious groups, from churches, from mosques, are there things that can be done? You are a women ministry in your church.
Yes.
So are there things that can be done from those groups
Yes.
to begin the education?
Yes. So some of the things that can be done in churches are starting from, say, okay, like I'm in the Pentecostal. So as a pastor's wife that have the audience of women, try to teach them how to be homely. Teach your women how to be homely. Teach your women how to be contented with what they have. If what you have can't take care of your basic need, try to find something and do. Don't put the whole pressure on your husband, taking him off into something else. As a pastor's wife, also try not to, because some pastors' wives are also involved in this.
In what we're talking about?
Oh yes, they compete among themselves. Who wears the best shoes, who wear the best hair, the best clothes.
Wow.
So with that, they can, even if you want to, don't make it to seem as though you're oppressing your fellow women. Because some of the women in church look up to them and so follow in their footsteps and do what they are doing. So the religious leaders, we have a work to do. The reverend fathers, they can talk about it. Let the women, let's go back to that time where women are contented with what they have.
I have heard that there are cases where the woman is actually earning money, sometimes earning more money than the husband.
Yes.
But as she says, it is my own money. And relies almost 100% on the husband for the children, for the feeding at home, for the house rent, for everything. He says, if you cannot be husband, then don't marry. If you marry, it's your. Is it true that
that's ideology? We don't know where it came from. It's not African. It's not African because as a woman, you're married to a man. You are one.
You are one. Build the house together.
You are one with your husband. So if you're one in everything, you're one in your accounts, in your money.
So how can you abandon?
You cannot be one in maybe in other areas.
In conjugal areas.
Yes, but when it comes to money, you not say is my own. No, we are one. We are supposed to be complementing ourselves. So if women would learn that the money belongs to the two of us, it's for the family. It's for our growth. It's for our betterment. I'm not sure all of this tribe would be like that. Then also, the men should also acknowledge their wives.
The efforts of their wives.
Yes.
Both of you don't come from work and you cross your leg.
Oh, and then reading newspaper and then she makes everything and serves you. And when she doesn't even serve you well, you're ready. Mm-hmm. So we have to complement each other. Because sometimes some of the women go into doing some of the things they do because of the underappreciation from their husbands. So what they want to do, okay, so you have money. No problem. I'll make my own money and I'll show you.
I'll pepper you.
I'll pepper you.
so
it goes back to the pepper.
So the peppering is not just pepper people who are neighbors.
You also pepper your husband or your wife. So vice versa. So the man will say, okay, it's because I don't have money. That's why you're treating me. Don't worry. Once I get this money, I will pepper you back. So
Well,
It's
we just
just a
hope. I
whole
mean,
lot.
some of these things are evidences of broken down society,
True.
broken down family life, broken down socialization system, education
Yes.
system, and socialization
Yes.
system. We pray that that group. I mean, women like you and other women who are leaders in their churches, leaders in mosques, leaders in various organizations will help educate women on a life of contentment,
Yes.
on modesty,
Yes,
and
sir.
frugality.
Yes.
I mean, I still see loud parties in spite of this hard times.
hardship.
Very loud parties with expense, huge expense, while people are wallowing in poverty in the slums.
Poverty. Some people can't even feed
Yes,
for
I say
an
that
entire day.
minimum wage is still 30,000.
30,000. So people are not even paid that 30,000 naira
Yes,
self.
yes.
They don't get to
So
be paid
this is
that
it,
amount.
and I pray that people will wake up to the fact that the times are hard, so our lives should reflect the hard times.
Yes.
And why would a Nigerian who decides to use the latest iPhone? I would just say, please remember that there are people by your backyard
That needs.
who are earning less than 50,000 a
Yes.
month.
Yes.
Who are
True.
earning, so who need help? Who need support?
Yes.
On this note, I will bring this program to an end. I have been speaking with Mrs.
Chimnecherem.
Chimnecherem Ani.
Ani, yes, sir.
This is Conk Igbo name, Chimnecherem
Yes.
Ani. She's a businesswoman, and we have been discussing how women are coping with the present challenging times and how women could help so that the pressure will not be too much in the home between husband and wife, between
Yes.
children and parents, so that we can survive this time and pray that these hard times will not last for too long.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank
madam.
you so much, Father.
Thank you.